It takes a special kind of player to score a goal like this.
Thing of wonder to seal the deal for West Ham United. Kudus at home, so often unstoppable.
This is Mohammed Kudus, Tottenham's newest signing. A bold move for a big talent.
It's a big moment. I'm finally here. I'm very happy and can't wait to start.
There is a reason he was called the star of African football. He isn't just a flashy dribbler, though he will entertain you. Kudus is a creator, a goal scorer, a game changer, someone who can unlock defenses when nothing else is working. In fact, he already has experience terrorizing the Premier League. Look at what he did to Manchester City in 2024 when they won the league.
Kudus! Wow. Hang on! Hold the phone in the title race! We've just had a very big last few seconds!
Even Spurs fans got a taste of what Kudus can do in the 2025 season.
Dancing away, and West Ham are in and have scored this time. Kudus applies the finish.
Of course, we saw Spurs splash the cash this week. Mohammed Kudus making that move from West Ham to Spurs.
£55 million is nothing when you consider how good he is now and his potential. When you have mid-wingers like Madueke going for the same amount, it actually becomes a bit of a bargain. And under Thomas Frank, he's in the perfect environment to grow into one of the best attacking players in Europe. The Danish manager transformed Mbeumo from an unknown talent from the second division of French football into one of the top goal scorers in the Premier League. So imagine what he can do with an even better player like Kudus. Surrounded by better players, playing in the role that he wants, which is the right wing, the Ghanaian can ball out.
The project and how the manager sees I can develop under him, where he's come from, and seeing the amount of talent he's developed to become great players, it's a big sign of why I wanted to work under him as well.
It's very much a statement signing, a signing made early with a clear plan, not some deadline day panic buy. He is a player that will bring a lot of excitement and get fans out of their seat. In fact, Spurs believe in him so much that the Ghanaian is the first purchase they have made from West Ham in 14 years.
And to go to Tottenham if you're a West Ham player is not a sort of thing you do, but Spurs have signed him. It's an interesting signing.
A talent so big that Levy and his shiny bald head was able to make an exception. Spurs fans will also be happy to know that Kudus did not want to negotiate with any other club, only Spurs.
I only wanted Spurs.
His intentions were clear from the start, and he really wanted the move. The only reason there are any doubts around this guy is because there was a big difference between his 2025 stats and his 2024 stats. If this signing was made after his debut season in the Premier League, everyone would be hyping it up. He signed for West Ham for 44.5 million euros after picking up 18 goals and 6 assists for Ajax in the 2022-2023 season. The fee ended up looking like a massive bargain as he picked up 18 goals and 10 assists.
Finds a fabulous finish!
His solo run against Freiburg won West Ham's goal of the season, and he was even named as the Premier League's best newcomer by Gary Neville during the Monday Night Football Awards. I don't know how much of an achievement that can actually be considered, but the way that I saw it was that if someone like Gary Neville, who rarely watches games outside of Manchester United, decided to give Kudus his flowers, then he must have been really balling. Kudus' fantastic performances helped West Ham finish in the top half of the table, and it was obvious when you watched him play that he was just head and shoulders better than everyone else. Him and Isak, in my opinion, were the two most elite players outside of the big six clubs. Everyone could see it at the time. The problem was that the next season, Kudus' stats dropped a lot. He only got 5 goals and 5 assists in 35 games. The Hammers went from top half finishers and Europa League quarterfinalists under Moyes to dragging themselves to 14th place. So what were the issues? Well, firstly, there's only so much Kudus can do individually when the team as a whole are struggling. Lopetegui ended up being a terrible hire, and Graham Potter didn't do too much better in the limited time he was there. The team played boring, ugly football. Pretty much the complete opposite of what Kudus can do for a team. On top of that, he was constantly played out of position. A reason for this was that West Ham had so many injuries that Kudus was forced to play 4 different positions. Under Moyes, he was at his best on the right wing. That's where he racked up over 1,500 minutes. It allowed him to cut inside onto his left foot, then either shoot himself or create for others. Kudus on the right with Bowen more central was a lethal duo for the Hammers. Yet under Potter, Kudus found himself playing on the left, through the middle, and even as the 9 at times. Now he's a very versatile player. That's why he was played in all of these different roles. It's because Potter knew that he had the tools to play anywhere in the attack. The problem is that when your role is constantly changing in a struggling team, it's going to be very difficult to build momentum. Kudus himself told Sky Sports that it's a plus that he can play 4 different positions, but also very difficult. You can see the difference in minutes. 2024, bulk of the minutes in one role, while while in the 2025 season, the minutes were spread everywhere. The one benefit to this was that Kudus had more shots closer to goal, but the trade-off was that his take-on numbers were lower. Kudus is at his best running at defenders with the ball and making things happen. And in the 2025 season, that was essentially taken from him. The man had finished his debut season as the player with the most successful dribbles in the Premier League, yet now he was being asked to just crash the box. Fortunately, based on the reports that I've seen, it looks like Thomas Frank and Spurs want to play him in his best position, the right wing spot.
I'm a very direct winger, strong, very good in taking players on and creating chances. There's a lot of flair in my game. I like to entertain the fans as well.
They were after Mbeumo, but for some reason, that man wants to go to the graveyard of football careers, Manchester United. And Semenyo signed a new contract with Bournemouth. Now, personally, I believe this was a blessing in disguise because in terms of talent and ability, Kudus is better than both of these guys. He's also the exact profile that Thomas Frank needs. He's a left-footed dribbler that can play anywhere in the front line. His ball carrying offers a threat in transition, but he's also silky enough on the ball to open up low blocks. Then without the ball, his movement inside the penalty area always puts him in dangerous goal-scoring opportunity. Let's start with his dribbling, since it's his best attribute. In the 2025 season, he attempted the second most take-ons per 90 in the Premier League, and he also had the second highest successful take-ons per game as well. Doku is not real, man, because what are these stats? These numbers are actually quite impressive, given that he spent so much time being played out of position. If we look at this chart, not only does Kudus try to dribble a lot, but he actually does it very efficiently. What makes his dribbling so good is that he can drive past opponents in large areas, but he can also find a way out of super tight areas. He is also comfortable dribbling in any direction. Yes, he's left-footed, so naturally he wants to cut in on his left, but he has no issues dribbling to his right. It makes him super unpredictable, and it's why he was able to play in multiple different attacking positions. He is an expert at putting his body in between the defender and the ball. Just look at what he did against Tottenham, using his body to create separation, then quickly changing direction to get past Basuma, then speeding past Archie Gray to whip in across. This GIF pretty much summarizes all of his qualities in one. Look at his dribbling stats from the 2024 season. The blue stars are his successful dribbles. As you can see, he's very good at making things happen. He risks a lot, but it's a calculated risk because he knows that more times than not, he will get by his defender. In the 2024 season, once again, only Doku had more take-ons per 90 than him. Having someone that can be multiple players like this is so important to any team, but especially Spurs. They have players who are good in tight spaces like James Maddison. They have players like Kulusevski and Brennan Johnson who can punish you in transition. But Kudus can do all of that. I mean, look at his assist against Lune. This is a play created out of nothing.
Kudus to the byline.
Well, you just can't write it, can you? Unbelievable stuff.
As I told you guys, he is left-footed, but he has no issues using his right. Spurs don't have a profile like this at the club. Kulusevski is the closest, but he doesn't have the speed that Kudus had. Now, not only is Kudus fantastic on the ball, but his off-the-ball movement in and around the box is also terrific. Let's look at this game against Brentford. Kudus sneaks into the penalty area and attacks the free space in the 6-yard box. Now Benrahma has a crossing option towards the back post. Kudus hits this cross with his thigh and it bounces off the post. It doesn't go in, but it falls very nicely for Jared Bowen, who finishes the chance. He gets the goal, but it was Kudus' movement that created it all. Here's another example against Brighton. Wan-Bissaka feeds the ball to Bowen, while Kudus is chilling on the left side waiting. When Bowen gets to the touchline, Kudus sprints in and offers a passing option by the penalty box. Normal movement, right? Well, not exactly, because Kudus then quickly changes direction and attacks the back post, completely confusing Weaver. Now, funny enough, he also confused Bowen, who passed it to where Kudus initially was, which was fine because he readjusted and side-footed the ball into the back of the net. It was Kudus' smart off-the-ball movement that allowed him to reach the ball before anybody else. It's also what makes him such an elite signing, because he is someone that can punish teams both with and without the ball at his feet. His numbers should go up as he's surrounded by better players in a more attacking system. I mean, Thomas Frank made Wissa and Mbeumo into consistent scorers. Imagine what he can do with Kudus, a player who was listed as must-watch in the 2024 African Cup of Nations. Mbeumo is the perfect comparison because he was also a left-footed player that liked to operate from the right side. Thomas Frank helped him get 20 goals in a Premier League season, so there's no doubt in my mind that Kudus' stats will go up. He is really great in 1v1 situations as well, so getting him isolated against defenders is one of the most efficient things you can do in your attack. And what's great about good dribblers is that they create so many chances just with their movement. When you beat one guy, then another guy, it forces the defense to collapse, creating space for other players. And now when Kudus beats someone, his passing options are better players. Going from Fulkrug to Dominic Solanke, it's a pretty big upgrade. The reason that Kudus is such an elite dribbler is because he can do a lot in big spaces, but he can also punish low blocks. What I also love about this guy is that he consistently performed in the big games. Even when West Ham were terrible, when they played one of the big boys, he usually balled out. Maybe he was trying to put on a show to get a move, and I don't blame him. It's very difficult for a player of that caliber to be surrounded by mid players, because not only can he beat his man, but he can put the ball in the back of the net. All he needs is a bit of separation to rocket one in. While dribbling is his best attribute, Kudus brings so much more than that to the table. Tottenham genuinely don't have a player of this profile, and he gives Thomas Frank more options to break down different kinds of teams. Who doesn't want a player on their squad who can create something out of nothing, especially with the speed that he does it at? In my opinion, Kudus should start at right wing, but Brennan Johnson did make a great case in 2025 that he deserves to be starting in that position. He was Spurs' top goal scorer in all competitions, scored the winner in the Europa League final, and Thomas Frank actually tried to sign him back when he was in charge of Brentford. Kulusevski can play on that side too, though I do feel he looked way better through the middle. Kudus could also play on the left wing, where he did spend a lot of time in the 2025 season at West Ham. With Hugman's son getting older, Timo Werner not being a good footballer, and young players like Mikey Moore and Matisse Tel still learning, Tottenham could use more firepower on that side, especially with the busy schedule that comes with playing in the Champions League. The club already struggled to cope with the demands of the Premier League and Europa League in 2025. Could that have also been because of Ange's high intensity style? Maybe, but we live in a time where having more depth is never a bad thing. Spurs are going to be in multiple competitions now, and even more competitive ones. There's a huge gap between the Champions League and Europa League. Kudus can also play through the middle since he operated as the number 10 for Ghana, but like I said, I think he's at his best at the right wing spot. Add in the fact that Gibbs White is also joining the team, and Thomas Frank has his hands full. Finding the right combination is why he gets paid the big bucks and why I make YouTube videos. The reality is that wherever he plays, this is a huge pull for Spurs. He's a top player who people think is inconsistent because he was on an inconsistent team. You could have put Messi on that West Ham team and he still would have had some bad games. Let's see what he can do under a better manager and a defined system, one that actually allows attacking players to flourish more. Because I'm telling you, a few years ago, every top club was after this guy. Now everybody turned their back on him because of recency bias. The good thing is that Thomas Frank does have a plan for him. To see why the Danish manager was the perfect choice for Tottenham, you gotta check out this video right here.